Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to US Election Hub, and today we're going to be doing a prediction for the 2018 Senate elections. And so I'm going to be basing all these predictions off polling. As of right now, I'm going to be looking at all these polls and then basically deciding which race or which candidate is going to win the race, whether it be Republicans or Democrats. So we're going to go ahead and start with Florida as of right now. So according to Real Clear Politics, most Florida polls so far have Scott up, and so as you guys can see, Scott is up by 0.8. And so most of these polls either have it as a tie or Scott up, and so that would mean this race would be tilt red. Going up to West Virginia, Joe Manchin has been leading his opponent by almost double digits, or I would say, yeah, it's double digits, around 12 to 15 points. And so he looks like he's going to keep his seat. New Jersey, I think the last recent poll had Bob Hugin losing by 6 points. So that would mean this race is actually lean Democrat. Looking at Wisconsin, the race, Tammy Baldwin is still leading around 7 points, and that puts this race as lean Democrat. And then Tina Smith versus Karen Housley. Now, according to the RCP average, this special election is rated as lean Democrat. As of right now, it's Smith 6.7. And so that is good news for the Democrats here, but this race could get closer, but as of right now, it is also lean Democrat. Now, according to CNN and also polling in North Dakota, this race has essentially become up by 1.6. You'll notice that the only time Heitkamp actually led was back in, February? So that was a long time ago. The most recent poll has this as lean Republican, and I do believe that this race is lean Republican at this point. Ted Cruz, by the most recent Quinnipiac poll, was leading by 9 points, but even if you don't want to trust that poll, he's essentially leading by 5 points in basically virtually every poll. And I always look at polls in Texas very interestingly, because I know there's some polls out in Texas saying that Ted Cruz and Beto are tied, or that Beto is up by 2, but those polls are very, very inaccurate, because one way to tell this is that those polls had Greg Abbott, the popular governor in Texas, almost losing, which is insane because he's leading by double digits in all credible polls. And when you look at a non-credible poll, you'll notice that there's some problem with not only the internal polling, but also with other races they also poll, and that was very, you could see that in a number of polls in this race. Now, Beto is doing very well for a Democrat, but to say that Beto is close to beating Ted Cruz is unlikely, and so this race is still lean Republican. Indiana as of right now is tilt Democrat, but it's entirely possible that the Republican here just does really good because of strong Republican turnout in the state of Indiana. In Missouri, I believe Josh Hawley is actually leading in this now. It was tied essentially for most of the time, but now, yep, he's up by 0.6. So let's go back to the map and just give him a tilt red here. Now, interestingly enough, the race is actually getting much closer in Montana, and so this right now is a tilt blue race. Same with Nevada. Dean Heller leads in some polls, but in the most recent ones, Jackie Rosen leads by 1 or 2 points max. And so this is really in the margin of error, and so either Dean Heller or Jackie Rosen can win. Now, the thing interesting about the Arizona race is that Sinema is now leading according to the most recent 2 polls. Now, the one thing I want to caution is the CNN poll here is really odd, because I looked at the CNN poll and they gave Doug Ducey, the current, Republican incumbent governor, a +3. So that would imply that a bunch of people who are voting for Ducey are voting for Sinema, which is very interesting to me. I would find it very hard to believe that people supporting Doug Ducey would actually end up voting Sinema as opposed to Martha McSally. It just doesn't make sense to me, and the poll had some problems with it. CNN isn't necessarily a bad pollster. They have some good polls sometimes, but this only had 761 likely voters, and had a pretty big margin of error, 4.3. So I would say this poll is essentially the same as the Fox News poll, Sinema +3. And that still means that Sinema is leading by around 0.20 to 0.5. And so this race would be tilt Democrat. But if this were 2 weeks ago, this race would actually be tilt Republican. But polls change all the time, so who knows? Maybe Montana will be tilt red the next time we do this video. So anyways, changing that back, this is tilt Democrat. And then in Tennessee, this is currently tilt Democrat according to polling. But in my honest opinion, I think Republicans are still going to win the state. But I'm going to leave it as tilt Democrat because of polling, and I don't want to break polling precedent in this video. So as you guys can see, North Dakota, Texas, and Florida are all places where Republicans are leading. But Democrats are leading in a number of states: Arizona, Nevada, Montana, Indiana, Tennessee, New Jersey, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. And so I want you guys to caution, we still have a little over a month before midterm elections. And so I would expect that in the next few weeks, that if any races are going to change, Montana could essentially become a toss-up, or not even lean red, just become a toss-up. Arizona becomes lean or tilt red, and Tennessee becomes tilt red, and that would actually end up giving Republicans I wonder, let me just check that real fast. What would happen if this happened? Wow, that's crazy. A 555 in the Senate. Anyways, I'm going to end this video now. No time to fool around. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys next time.